Hey everyone, and good Friday evening. It's Deputy Chief Chandler. I'm here riding with Richard Frankich, one of our community service officers, and he does many other things with his full-time job. But this is his hobby, where he comes out and he does the community service officer program. And it's the truck that you see, the yellow and black checkerboard graphics on it, says Instant Response. This program is wonderful for our community, and Rich and his team does amazing work that helps many of our community members in different incidents that does not require a police officer response. So, like with the winter weather, Rich, you're out tonight in it with everyone, and folks, just let us know that you're here. And if the audio is working well, could someone just give me a thumbs up or an okay in the comments, so I know that the audio is working well. We've had a little bit of audio issues early on testing this out, and hopefully it's working this evening. But Rich, how's your night been?
It's been a good night so far. We've been blessed with, seems like everybody's staying off the roads as much as they can. We're doing good with traffic so far, knock on wood, but having a good night overall.
The interesting thing today, which we had a lot of snow, really a lot of snowfall. It started about 7:30, 8 a.m. this morning. It covered the roads initially with the heavy snowfall, and then midday, a lot of what was on the roads just turned to water. It was melting, and the snow couldn't keep up with the rate of melt that was occurring with the temperatures that was out there. Temperatures ranged midday 34, 33. As it got to the afternoon and evening, it dipped down to about 32, 31. And so the roads were has they've been really since that. I would say maybe but we're grateful to been that have very low. We've had two crashes today, and we've had two vehicles that went off the road and they just had to be pulled back on the road. But overall, those are very limited events. Just a normal day. We typically have more crashes on a nice, bright, sunny day. So we're grateful to see the low number of incidents today, because we've had winter storms in the past where it's a lot more chaotic, but this is not going to be one of those, and hopefully it'll continue the same pace throughout the night. Traffic on the roads very limited. The truck cam there was turn uh, covered, slick still, sort of taking it slow out here. Limited traffic out and about. One thing we've seen throughout the day, early on, even starting yesterday, the city's public works crews running 5 trucks have done a lot of work with grinding for pre-treatment, which has helped with the different melting throughout the day. And then they've been running the plows and the scrapers and the salt nonstop. And it'll be a 24/7 operation through the night into tomorrow until the road conditions definitely improve. So grateful for those guys with public works. They have to take naps and take rest breaks at the public works facilities, and they get back in those trucks and ride around. Tennessee Department of Transportation, they've been out on Lebanon Road, Mount Juliet Road, and Central Pike, also on the interstate. They've been doing the tandem plowing, and will be shared on our Twitter page, where a video of them doing the tandem plowing down I-40. So they're out working hard too. But overall, our community is just taking it slow. Okay, most people stayed home. A lot of different businesses were closed. Some restaurants were open. And in fact, I had a wonderful fine dining meal at the Waffle House this evening. It was one of the only things open, but Waffle House is good every now and again. I'm not a regular there by any means, but I do love it when I get to have it. So we had Waffle House this evening, and for lunch we had pizza catered to the headquarters for our staff that was working today. With any winter storm, we don't really know always what to expect. We go off of what we get from the meteorologists, the National Weather Service, and we kind of plan ahead. So we had a higher level of staffing today early on. We were able to send some people home just because the call volume didn't support to have all the staff here. And so we just have a basic patrol shift working along with our flex teams. And they are keeping stuff patrol and protected while many businesses are closed and whatnot. Um, During these events, we try to prioritize the phone call reports simply because we don't have to send an officer into a hazardous area. We're not going to do that. We just call in and do the report on the phone. But of course, if we're needed on scene anywhere, we're going to respond to that. Fire department's been fairly steady with medical calls. I don't think there's been anything weather-related injuries. It's been just the normal day-to-day medical calls. Doesn't seem like it was anything serious. So, whoever needed an ambulance today, we're hopeful they'll recover quickly. But they're working 24/7. All your essential services are out working. See many people sledded down the different locations throughout the city. They don't like us to advertise too much because it's private property. I saw a lot of neat snowmen and a lot of friendly snowball fights. So it's been a beautiful wintry day in our community. A very safe day in our community.
It's real pretty out right now too with the snow falling again.
Yeah, we've got one last band, I think, of snow is coming through right now. It's not going to accumulate much on our roads. We've had the most likely going to get, and it's ranged the city anywhere from 2 inches to about 3.5 inches. Not much more than that in our area. Of course, some areas of Tennessee got a lot more. We do. When we do these updates, always able to take questions. So there's about 270 of you watching this. So if you have any questions about our snow operations, police work, or what we're out doing this evening, just type that in the comments and I'll be glad to get to that. It pops up on the screen I have in front of me and we're able to read it. Right now we're on Mount Juliet Road, going south near the Camp Bow Wow, the Oak Hall Drive area, going up the hill. And you can tell it's snow covered and it's like a slushy ice. Your neighborhood streets are always a lot worse than your main roads. Any elevated road, overpass, on-ramp, bridge, are going to be a lot worse than just your normal roads because they're always a little bit colder. And Rich's temperature gauge is showing about 32 degrees on his car.
Yeah, we're right in that kind of danger zone right now where it's sitting around 31, 32 degrees and with the water and slush on the roadway, some spots could be a little more wet than others. Some spots start refreezing already, and if we dip down a little colder, it's going to get much more treacherous. So we're very grateful that folks are taking our advice and staying home as much as they can, only traveling if absolutely necessary. It's really making our jobs a lot easier.
Yeah, there's been moments today with those 2 different cars. They were stuck on a hill grade. Their car couldn't make it up the hill, and our officers had to go out there and help them. So, really, the only reason we don't have more incidents is because there's not a lot of people out. If we had more people out, we'd have more incidents. But what you do see out driving around are the 4-wheel drive vehicles. You see the all-wheel drive type cars driving around. They're getting around fine. Our police vehicles are all-wheel drive on the SUVs, and they get around pretty good. Our other vehicles, the F-150s, the Chevrolet Tahoes, the trucks, they are full drive and they're getting around okay. Of course, we always just take it slow as well. So we want to be safe. We don't want to run off the road or have a crash either. But going through the different questions that I see, obviously, a lot of nice comments from our community just supporting us, and we're grateful for the support of our community. And the ongoing social media joke about Cats. Cats is open. I do see cars parked out front. I'm not sure when they're closing today, but this open sign is on. In fact, we're just turning now in front of it, going down to Pigeon Street. But any local business, we're grateful to support. Of course, if you do go out and go to a bar type environment, please make sure you have a sober ride home. If not, call an Uber, taxi, something else to get you home safely. The last thing we want is anyone to get hurt because they made a poor decision to drive while impaired. Tony has the question of, do you think roads will be bad tomorrow morning? And Tony, I do think they will be. It's going to get a little bit colder overnight. There'll be less traffic on the road, so the roads will develop some more ice. But I do believe tomorrow, if that sun comes out a little bit, the roads will be back up and they'll turn to water. And that's what we're hoping for, is is a good warm up tomorrow where these roads can dry. And once they get dry, it'll be a lot better and safer because it won't refreeze again tomorrow night when it dips a lot colder again. So early morning, I do expect the roads, but hopefully by lunchtime, they'll be clear. But that's just me being hopeful. We'll just have to see what happens. Grace has the question about is I-40 headed toward Lebanon bad? I believe our interstate, there's no incidents on the interstate through the city limits. I have not heard of any issues in Lebanon. You just need to take it slow. Just be mindful that there is patches of ice and slush on the interstate, just like any of the roads that are out here. The vehicle that just passed in front of us with the flashing lights, that was one of our city public works trucks. They're out running the different routes, and they have a plan. There's a tier plan where they have tier 1 and tier 2 roads marked, and there are 5 different trucks. Each truck is assigned those routes, and they constantly work on those routes. And I can tell by looking at Division Street right now that we're on that they've really been working on it. You can see where they've been scraping because they're really making a big dent in clearing the road, and that just is going to help us even more as we go into tomorrow and we hopefully get some drying and the sunshine out. The roads will clear up very quickly. We can all go about our normal days and not have to stay at home.
Yeah, for sure. The crew over at Public Works does a stellar job keeping up with it as best they can, and we've been super lucky. I think my personal opinion, anyway, with the as much as wide a range that they were predicting for the total snowfall. I think we came out on the lower end of that prediction, so it's definitely making their job a little bit easier as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So going through here, we just drove Evan. We already had sorry we missed you. Of course, we're doing out of service, so you may or may not get, you may lose down this page. We're driving through Pascal Drive right now, neighborhood street. Of still cell service and it's areas are covered, the agency totally covered. Any agents and over more now
Rich and I are still driving around, folks. We're having a little bit of connectivity issues. We'll get back into it shortly. So be patient.
All right, we're back in the game for a little bit. We lost some connectivity on the controller. Going back to the GPS, Ashley, that you mentioned, they are following GPS that sends them down those routes, and we work with the GPS companies to try to limit that to trucks. But depending on what setting of the GPS the operator's using, it will still send them down that route because they're not selected as a over-the-road truck operator. So. And Kenton would like Taco Bell. I'm not even sure if Taco Bell's open, Rich.
I didn't notice it. We'll have to run down there.
I didn't see if it was open, Kenton, so probably no Taco Bell for you. So let's checking in some questions here. Tony, just with some kind words, very proud to live in MJ and happy to have a great police department, fire department. Tony, we're grateful to serve with a great group of men and women who work so hard to keep the city safe with what they have. They do amazing work every day. Ashley has questions about thoughts of drivability into Nashville on Monday. Rich, I think it's going to be probably smooth sailing to Nashville on Monday. Just the rate of clearing, not quite as much snow as they expected, and they are making some progress on clearing these roads. I do think Monday will be no problem for Nashville.
The only small caveat being, as long as we get the good drying going on during the day and it doesn't refreeze at night, then yeah, you should be okay.
Yeah. Stephanie's asking about the crash yesterday. Folks, if you weren't aware, we sent out 2 alerts about a crash yesterday on I-40 where a utility vehicle was traveling south on Mount Juliet Road near the overpass. They left the roadway on the side where the Shell gas station is and continued off the roadway, crossed over the overpass, and then went sideways down onto the interstate, and the vehicle came arrest into the center dividing wall. A very dynamic scene and dangerous crash. I'm so thankful that it wasn't worse. I mean, that truck could have hit an 18-wheeler, a tanker truck, anything, and it would have been devastating. But it barely hit the bumper of a van and then came to a rest, and the operator was injured. They were transported, but I saw that person posted on social media that night, so obviously they had to be transported, and we're thankful that they weren't seriously injured even more, and wish them a full recovery, which they'll receive. They've probably already been released from the hospital, but man, it was a very dynamic crash, and from what we hear, the Highway Patrol investigated it. Distracted driving was involved, and that's why it's so important not to drive distracted, because you can find yourself running off the roadway if you're not properly paying attention. So again, we're just grateful no one was seriously hurt. Looks like we have a utility vehicle popping out. Rich is going to just turn on his lights to give him some buffer so he can help clear the road. He's working on clearing a large amount of snow out of that intersection there. That's just our public works teams out there working so hard. If you have questions, type those in the comments. Evan is asking for our best snow story.
Oh, wow.
Evan, people always ask different questions to police officers about what's the scariest thing you've done, or the most exciting thing that you've done, or the best snow story. When you've done this for 20 years, it all kind of runs together, and you purge a lot and you forget a lot. But throughout the 20-year career, I've been blessed, and it's been a wonderful career serving this community. But probably trying to think, just the different sledding moments. We get out every time it snows, and we get to sled with community members. I remember one time I was sledding. I didn't think the sled would stop, and nor I would stop, and I had to roll off of it. and I was in my uniform and just covered in snow. As I rolled a couple times, everyone was a little bit shocked that happened, but I wasn't hurt, thankfully. That's probably my scariest snow sledding moment. Um, in that aspect, probably the most heart-wrenching snow moment was when a child, young teen in Hickory Hills was sledding down a hill and hit a mailbox, and the mailbox sheared in half. That child was seriously injured and had to be transported to the hospital. So that always reminds me, and what we try to advocate to our community is be careful when you're sledding, because you're going really fast and it's hard to steer and control, and you can easily hit an obstacle. And you just want to make sure if you are sledding, you're doing that in a nice wide open area where there's not obstacles, and so you don't find yourself hurt in the Angie has the best driving tip for snowy, icy weather other than staying at home.
Slowing down and taking it easy.
Yeah, definitely smooth and steady. You definitely don't want to make any quick accelerations or hard brakes. What I see most people do that scares me is they bunch up in a group of vehicles. You want to leave a lot of room between you and the other car, and that may mean you don't pass the car in front of you. Because if something does happen, if that car begins to lose traction or you begin to lose traction, you want to have plenty of room around you to be able to recover from whatever spin or slide that you find yourself in. So take it slow, leave plenty of room between you and others. Speaking of the snow plows, you don't want to crowd the plow either. They typically travel about 30 to 35 miles per hour, so you want to stay off of them. Passing them is scary to the operator, so don't pass them, and definitely don't crowd them. You just kind of get, if you're behind a snow plow, that's just your luck, and you stay behind it and just stay smooth and steady as you continue to drive wherever you're headed. Right now we're on the overpass at Mount Juliet Road, looking down at the interstate. Not many cars on the interstate, but you can tell the state's been out there scraping it, so I can't tell if it's icy or slushy. This has a shiny sheen to it. Christina is asking Texas or Ohio State. So I'm going to go with Ohio State, simply because my pastor is a huge Ohio State fan.
I'll go with that.
And now I'm from Texas, but I think I'm going to side with my pastor on this one with Ohio State.
I don't necessarily have a dog in that fight, but I'll side with the pastor on that one.
Okay, yeah. Deal.
Go Irish.
Just going through a couple questions here. Yeah, right now we're on South Mount Juliet Road in front of Providence. We're going to turn onto Providence Parkway. I'm glad to see how clear they've been doing on the roads. A lot of scraping. The snow is a lot more packed. You can tell they've been out scraping and removing the snow and putting that salt down. Tomorrow we will probably see some rapid clearing so these roads get back to normal.
Yeah, I would bet.
You had Joel chime in. He said, "Go Irish, Rich." So
all right, Joel.
you have a
Thank you.
fan there.
I would bet the primaries and the main secondaries should clear up pretty decent tomorrow. Just still be careful on those neighborhood streets, the side streets. They may still be a little slick tomorrow.
This is Providence Parkway. You have the LC Community on our right, Providence, JCPenney, Pittsmore on our left.
We'll make the big loop and then we'll hit the interstate once.
Samantha, I gave my thoughts there. Uh, I don't pay too much attention to it, and you know that because you know me personally of the college football. But I'm gonna go with Ohio State simply because Pastor Jim loves Ohio State, and I feel like I need to support his team. But let me know who you're supporting in the comments there. The sports questions for me, Rich, I have a hard time answering those. I just don't pay attention to that.
Go Cubs. Now that transition off of Providence Parkway onto Providence Trail was pretty good. I could definitely see if someone was going too fast and not paying attention, they could have slid right through that stop sign.
Is the championship game tonight?
You know, I don't know.
Maybe it's this weekend. I don't know. So this is Providence Trail approaching Belinda Parkway, where Two Rivers Ford is at. Gotcha. Joel said Texas just scored 14-14. And the playoffs is January 20th. And then Charlene on the Cubs, she says Cubs equal completely useless by September. Signed a Cardinals fan.
I had to be a Cards fan.
And is OSU all the way. So great. One call that we received a couple of times today are teenagers throwing snowballs at cars. So we would discourage that just because we don't want to see any arguments or fights or damage to vehicles come of that.
Mm-hmm.
I get they're having fun, but may just not be the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, you never know. You could be out there trying to have some fun, and the wrong person may not like it, or maybe having a bad day. And you never know what it could lead to.
For folks who maybe join later in this live video, today's been very calm. We're grateful for that. Road started off a little more hazardous this morning. It lightened up a little bit. Some stuff melted. Midday was fine, and then this afternoon, evening, heavy band of snow came through, got a little colder, and now the roads are covered with the snow, ice, slush. But call volume wise, it's been limited. We had 2 separate incidents where cars ran off the road, and we had 2 crashes. And typically on a sunny day, we have a lot more crashes, so we are doing good out here. And the majority of our crashes on a sunny day are related to distracted driving. So we are always encouraging people to please do not drive with the phone in your face, because the likelihood of you slamming in the back of something is greater. And we don't want anyone to get hurt by that. We do see injuries caused by that. And we do it's a major distraction. We all just have to put that phone down and not focus on it when driving. And Georgina said I shouldn't say the quiet word or slow word. So
Yeah, you never know. It might jinx it.
Gigi, our dispatcher, is always hate it when I say that word too, because it gets busier sometimes. But that's the facts today. It's been nice and quiet. So we're turning off of Providence Way, aka Belinda Parkway, onto Mount Juliet Road northbound. Rich, you want to take a look on the interstate?
Sure, we'll go 40 east.
So we're going to go 40 east and we'll exit northbound at Golden Bear. Again, another city truck out doing the plow. Salting activity. Is that another one? That is another city truck laying the brine. So right now this is the on-ramp to 40 east off Mount Juliet Road. You can tell they've been treating it. Still want to take it slow. It looks slick to me. Does it feel slick?
So far, it's feeling okay.
Feel okay?
I'm only doing 30 miles an hour, but here comes the bridge part of it. A little slick.
Yeah. Question from Jennifer: how's the Mount Juliet Road going towards the Long Hunter area? So, Jennifer, I wish I could answer that for you. Our city limits ends at Central Pike. So down to Central Pike, it's been scraped. I would still be careful with the slush and ice on there, but it's probably passable. You just want to take it slow if you have to get out. I do think we'll see great improvement on our roadways tomorrow by noon. My fingers are crossed, hoping for that, because they've really made a lot of progress. I mean, what you're looking at now is I-40, the 1 and 2 lane, which is the 2 left lanes, look very clear. They look a little wet, probably because the salt is helping to do that. But you can tell TDOT's really been working hard. They've been doing the tandem plowing out here to clear up the interstate and ensure that it's passable. And we're grateful for that, because that means we have less crash incidents. In these moments where we see crashes occur is when vehicles drift over into the slush, and it almost creates a hydroplane type situation for the car. It's also very slick with the ice, and then they spin off and lose control. So if you are out on the interstate and you're driving, stay out of that slushy area, which means you got to pay attention so you're not distracted to drift off into that area.
Yeah, this lane we're actually in right now it looks wet, but it feels almost dry. I mean, they've been doing a really good job out here, it feels like. Still don't want to take that for granted, though. Still want to watch out for those spots and be very cautious. Way to go, TDOT.
Yeah, great work. And not only has our team been out working hard, I've seen Tennessee Highway Patrol troopers out working hard. They've been doing some live updates on their social media channels as well. Of course, the sheriff's office has been out working hard. Lebanon Police as well. They've been doing updates. So, when these moments happen, it doesn't happen often, but everyone just comes together to serve their communities in their different capacities, just to keep people safe, but also be there for people. When incidents happen, if you're that car that runs off the road, if you're that car that's stuck in the ditch, if you're the one that has the wreck, or you need help, there's going to be help for you. And that's why we are all here to serve in that capacity, to ensure our community members are protected. But if something bad happens, we're there quickly to try to make that situation better from whatever bad moment that it's in. So Rich is going to drift off a little bit in this slush as he exits. Of course, this is a moment we want to be careful in, and he's trying to keep his tires in the grooves of the slush, it looks like. So we're exiting off the interstate, and then we'll go northbound on Golden Bear Gateway. He's just going to slow down real slow as he takes this exit ramp.
Yeah, that was comfortable doing about 50 on the interstate. For me, that felt pretty comfortable in this truck. So I don't know that I would have done much more than that, even with as dry as it felt. You can definitely see some slick spots on this ramp.
I'm laughing at a comment from Angie. She said she has a friend in Georgia, told her son to put salt on the driveway, and she looked out and the son had a salt shaker out there. So maybe that's one way to do it, but you're probably going to need a lot more, right?
You'll need a lot more than a salt shaker.
Yeah, you can see the slush and iced up here.
And the snow is still falling. It looks pretty.
Yeah. Going over the Golden Bear Gateway overpass northbound over I-40, where Costco's at, Under Armour warehouse, and also Amazon. Looks like at the corner here, Rich, they're building a Whataburger and a Texas Roadhouse.
And I think we getting an In-N-Out burger too.
I think so. It's coming over to the development on the right, and there's a car wash going in as well. So this area of Goldenberg Gateway is developing pretty rapidly. You know, one thing about this storm is it's cold, right? But it's not like the 15-degree type cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, the roads would be really nasty if that was the case.
Yeah, I would venture to say we'd be a lot busier tonight.
Yeah, but typically in those moments you don't have a lot of snowfall because when it's super cold out, the moisture in the atmosphere just isn't as great.
Yep. And what little we would have would be ice pellets. There's another plow.
All right, well, we have drove around a lot of part of the city. I got one question coming in here though from Tori about the Nonneville Road area, and Tori, Nonneville Road has been treated throughout the day by our city crews. One bit of confusion with Nonneville is the whole road is not in the city limits. We go up to about where the Wintry Golf Course used to be, so that section for sure is a lot more clear, and the rest of the road is county road. And I do know county road crews have been out. They just have a lot more roads to cover than the city, so it may not look as if they've been out there as much. But I do feel tomorrow by noon we'll start to see a lot of our roads improved. Of course, let's check in the morning before you just get out and drive. We'll send out some communication to our community as we check it too. But I'm hopeful with all the work that the crews are doing with the scraping and salting tonight, that there'll just be a thin layer to be melt off with the sunshine tomorrow, if the sun is coming out. I hope it is.
Should be.
I think it's coming out, but what the weather said. And it'll be a lot better tomorrow. We can all get about our normal lives. May have to go a little bit slower through neighborhoods, but once you hit any main road, things will be good.
A little bit of pack here on the bridge over East Division.
Yeah. But good deal. I'm going to have Rich take me back to my vehicle, and I'm going to ride around for a little bit, just check on things, and eventually head home for the evening and fly out. Just thank you to everyone in our community. We've done a great job today with the winter storm. Very calm day. Very limited on the incidents that we've had. We're grateful for that. I appreciate the support of everyone, for our police officers. Man, all the time, our team is just getting encouragement from our community and just good words and comments. And I know we're not perfect, but we're going to do as best as we can to be the best, so we can serve our community with a high standard, you know. And we have a great team that does that. I'm grateful for the men and women that are out in the field, for the men and women who serve in our communication center, serve in our records division and other support staff through evidence, investigation, support teams, training teams. We have a very good police department, but it's because of the men and women that make it up. So grateful for each and every one of them. Grateful for our public works crews that have been out working hard in this 24/7 operation, nonstop, to do what they can to clean the roads. All of our other emergency responders who are out and about having to be here. And there's other professions out there and careers that they have to be out and about too, and working. And just like the staff that served me and you, Rich, at Waffle House tonight, and I'm grateful they were in.
Yep.
Because they were able to feed a whole bunch of people that were there, and I was able to eat. Make sure to tip them very well for serving us and taking care of us tonight. But that's what makes a community. That's why we always need to be kind to each other.
We all have different opinions, different backgrounds, different experiences, different ideas. But at the heart of it, we all have the same type of heart that beats the blood in our body. And that's why I think it's so important for us to be kind and treat one another with kindness and be respectful to one another. Just because there's differences doesn't mean we should be divided by any means. And while we may not be able to control the thoughts of a nation or the thoughts of a world, we can definitely work our best to control the 26 square miles, little bitty square that we call home in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. So if anyone needs anything, reach out to us for anything. We're here to serve our community in many different capacities, not just to keep everyone safe. And we have resources to make sure that people have heat. We have resources to be sure people have food and shelter. And we don't want anyone to go without or to be suffering, especially when it's cold out. So please reach out to our dispatch center, and they start making connections so one of our officers or team members can give someone some help if that's needed. Rich, anything else?
Just to reiterate, folks, thank you so much for taking care of each other today and taking everyone's advice of only being on the road if you absolutely have to. Definitely made all of our crews our jobs a lot easier today. And to echo Deputy Chief's sentiment, huge shout out to the Public Works crew and of course everyone that's been working all day today. TDOT teams, highway patrol teams, really appreciate everyone that's been out doing what they do to keep things moving. And folks, thank you. Take care of each other as always. And if you need to go check on your friends and neighbors, do that too. Thanks for riding with us tonight. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Be safe, everyone. We'll send out some updates either through MJ Alert or social media tomorrow just to let you know how the roads are doing. I'm hoping I'm correct on this, but I have some confidence that we'll see a lot of improvement by lunchtime and into the afternoon. So we may be able to get out a little bit and go about our day-to-day lives a little bit more normal. So be safe. We're here for you. Reach out if you need anything at all. Take care, everyone.